Hello, everybody. This is Gordon Holmes with your Survivor exit interview. We'll be talking to Frannie in just a minute. Before we get into that, the comment section is open, so please feel free to tell us how you feel about this episode, this interview. If you have any questions, any comments, please let me know. The rules, as always, be nice to each other, be nice to the contestants, and be nice to me. You don't have to be nice to me, though. I'm not sure I always deserve it. Also, the recaps, my recaps of every episode are available on morewhatnot.com. That's my personal blog. Every Wednesday after the episode, they go up live there. Also, every Monday, we have the Survivor Power Rankings right here on YouTube, me squaring off against Owen Knight, who has such fascinating insight. Be sure to check those out. Owen always has really interesting things to say. And finally, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. We really appreciate it. With that being said, let's see what Frannie has to say about last night's elimination. So I hate to start this off on such an awkward note, but I'm a reporter. I've got to ask the question. So let's just get this out of the way. Last night, did you full tilt too much? Did you not boogie enough? What do you think happened?
Oh my God. I mean, I left my dancing shoes at camp. Like I was not there to dance. I was a little too much chilled, a little too little boogie. I tried my best.
Let that be a lesson, future survivors. A, 3D printer. B, adequate amount of boogie.
Yeah, that's all you need to win this game in the modern era.
So you support that hypothesis?
Oh, I fully support the hypothesis.
So I gotta say, you needed to go. Like just looking like likable, smart, good at challenges, potential boyfriend on the jury. On the other hand, it seemed like you were left out of the Kane vote. So like it was kind of back and forth as to how dangerous you were, but I absolutely see why they targeted you.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you said that because that's how it felt to me as well. I was like, logically, I'm like, okay, I get it. People think I'm a threat because I'm winning challenges. But like literally last tribal, I had no one. Every single person lied to me. What's threatening about me? Like I'm just running around like full tilt boogieing. Yeah, it was very, very confusing. And I think that people built up this perception that I was doing, a ton in the game, doing a ton in challenges. And it was so hard to break that down. Like even after that first immunity win that I had, I could not recover from that. Like we would leave for challenges and people would be like, oh, well, Frannie's going to come home with the necklace again. And I was like, shh, don't say that. It was hard to break that up.
Yeah. Now going into tribal, it was there was like a million different plans. And then weirdly, Heidi voted for Danny. Was that to throw her off of the scent that you were voting for her?
So Heidi voted for Danny because Heidi was still operating under the assumption that pretty much everybody except Danny was going to split votes on Danny and Jamie. So like for me, the most important conversation going into tribal was that conversation you see with me, Carolyn, Lauren, and Jamie. That conversation happened maybe 10 minutes before we leave for tribal council. And we're all standing around and we're like, why are we so confused? Like, why are we so anxious? Why are we not just voting out Danny? And so in that moment, we say, we're flipping it. Let's just do Heidi. And because that conversation was so close to tribal, it was so just like quick and sparky. I felt good about it. Like that's the last thought that's in everybody's heads. I really believe that that's what was going to happen. So I think Heidi just, didn't get that memo. And that's why she ends up voting for Danny, from my understanding.
Now Heidi is packing an idol, and she had this revolutionary idea of don't tell anybody about, like, Survivor. Carolyn too. Survivor geniuses. Was there any hint that she had it at all, or was that a complete surprise?
Complete and utter surprise. Both Carolyn and Heidi, I had no idea. Good on them.
And Danny saved you. He played an idol to save you a couple episodes ago, and now here he is turning his back on you. Could you explain to me the relationship with Danny, where he would feel the need to do that and then immediately turn his back on you?
Yeah. So the relationship with Danny is like really, really interesting, right? Because it seems like we should be really, really close. He's played this idol on me. But frankly, when we get back to camp, I say, thank you very much for playing your idol on me. And then like, we didn't really reestablish a strategic rapport. Like we didn't keep working together. And I think the disconnect here and what's hard to understand about it is I think for Danny, the idol play was more about him doing this big flashy move. He knows where the votes are going. He has an opportunity to take, control and take ownership of a vote. I think it was more about that than it was about saving me in particular. You know what I mean? Like when Danny comes up to me and says, I'm going to play my idol on you, he starts that conversation by saying, you and me have had some problems lately because he knew that I had been trying to get him out. So I mean, I was shocked that he played it on me. I'm like, you kind of know that I'm working against you, but it's silly watching it back. And then 3 days later, he's like, it has to be Frannie.
Now it seems like you were the first person to kind of get the feeling that Tika was working as a swing tribe. Were you alone in that thought, or were other people picking up on that?
I think I was the first person to vocalize it, but I had conversations about that with Kane, and he saw what I was seeing. So when Kane goes home, that vote, he and I were trying to organize for Ratu and Soka to work together to get out a member of Tika, right? Because when we came back from the Brandon vote, I found out that Jam Jam and Carson and Carolyn knew that Danny was going to play his idol on me. And that changed things for me a lot. I was like, okay, these 3 people who have kind of been pretending like, oh, nobody tells me information, I don't know anything. They knew every single thing that was going to happen last night. And that scares me, right? I want to be the person in the game with the most information. So I kind of got Kane on the same page as me, but Danny did not see what I was seeing. You know, Heidi didn't see it. Lauren and Jamie weren't concerned by it and were more preoccupied with this war that was happening. So, yeah, you know, I wasn't able to get people to see what I saw, but I'm glad I raised the alarm. Like, I found it concerning, but I was being very illogical. So that's what they've told me.
Now, I'm not the kind of guy that will share a belt with just anybody. Like,
It's a very intimate
it's a
kind of
very
connection.
intimate piece of clothing. It's almost like a clothing hug in a way around
Yes,
your waist.
yes.
So how close were you and Carolyn, you know, before you left the game?
Carolyn and I were very close. So, I mean, I feel like, you know, you hear Carolyn say it herself, right? At this point in the game, people are kind of discounting her. And I think Carolyn, like, she's out there. Some people like don't get her, but I feel like I get Carolyn, right? Like, I understand her. I think she's hilarious. I respect her. And so she and I had been, you know, slowly building this like social personal bond that hadn't really yet materialized into a strategic relationship. But after Kane goes home, nobody tells me what's happening. I'm like, I need to pick a new number 1, and I want it to be Carolyn. And so in those couple of days after Kane left, I put in a lot of work, and Carolyn and I were working very closely strategically together. And ultimately, you see it in the episode. I think that becomes threatening to Jam Jam and Carson, who want to, you know, keep their 3 tight together. Yeah, Carolyn and I spent a ton of time together, and I wish I'd gotten more time with her.
Now, when you say pick a new number 1, it's not that Kane was your number 1. It's that like you felt like you couldn't trust anybody because you were left out.
I felt like Kane was my number 1 actually after Matt left. Yeah, I know we don't see very much of this, right? But I was working a lot with Kane strategically. He and I have a similar like, you know, alliance rapport, right? And so we really like talked through a lot of options, and I would have gone far in the game with him, I think. But you know, that's what people saw as a problem as well. That's why nobody wanted to tell me that Kane was going home, because they saw it as an issue that I was going to be upset about it.
Okay. And with you and Carolyn, I'm just going to throw this out there. Feel free to use it. Belt buddies.
Jump buddies.
Belt buddies.
Belt buddies. Yes. I was like,
dumb buddies.
I was like,
terrible.
Have I just been insulted?
That's terrible.
Belt buddies.
No.
Belt buddies is good.
Belt buddies. There's no alliteration in dumb buddies. I'm the dumb
I know.
buddy.
I was like, Gordon's losing his touch.
It's
like, what
dark.
is this?
It's dark. I apologize. It's been a rough week. It's been a really rough week.
Yeah,
All right.
me too.
Let's get into word association before this thing goes completely off the rails. I know. It's very intimidating. I'll give you someone's nickname. Give me the first word, a couple words that pop into your head, and we'll start off with Claire.
Oh, laziness czar.
Okay. Brandon.
Stoic.
Okay. Jam Jam.
Oh. Oh. Saucy.
Okay. Heidi.
Heidi. Indecisive.
Okay. Josh.
Josh. Suave.
Kane.
Kane. Dungeon Master.
Okay. Carson.
Carson. Oh. Diabolical.
Okay. Danny.
Danny. Spark plug.
Jamie.
Jamie. Bubbly.
Okay. Carolyn.
Carolyn. Oh, Oh no.
Belt buddy?
Belt buddy. Let's go with belt buddy.
There we go. And let's finish this off with Matt? I don't remember a Matt.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
Who's he?
Yeah, it was my goal to be the exit interview that went the longest amount of time without mentioning Matt.
Oh, you've definitely won it. I didn't even realize it until this moment.
You mentioned him. It took me a while. So Claire knew that Matt's idol was a fake, and she said that she told you, but was it Survivor telephone and you don't know who you can trust?
Oh no, I was 95% sure that Matt's idol was fake. Honestly, from the moment, so Claire told me about the whole birdcage situation, right? Matt comes to me, he says, I've found the key. I'm going to go open the birdcage. And I told him right there, I was like, there's going to be two idols, a real and a fake. And he goes and opens it. When he comes back and tells me there was only one idol, I was like, dude, your idol's fake. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's definitely fake. So I was very convinced that it was not real. But I think for Matt, it was like a little too much telephone. I think that he like was suspicious of the idol, but there were too many opportunities for a lie to happen. So he was still somewhat operating under the assumption that it was real. But yeah, I didn't believe in that idol for a second.
Now, when Matt went home, there was a little controversy because if you had lost, if you had won your round but lost the challenge as a whole, he would have been safe. Did that cross your mind at all when you were up there?
I mean, yeah, I was up there for 45 minutes. I had a lot of time to think
about
a lot of
stuff crossed my mind, Gordon.
A lot of things crossed my mind.
Don't be a dumb buddy, Gordon. A lot of things crossed my mind.
Yeah. Do I look like a dumb buddy to you? No, I thought about it, right? But I think, what some people like miss or what's hard to see is at this point, like early merge, Matt was doing very, very well socially. Like everybody loved him, which of course becomes a big part of the reason he gets voted out. But I wasn't that concerned for him, like in that group. I know that, the Ratus are probably going to work together, but I really felt like they were sympathetic towards Matt, right? Matt and I had just started to try to build a strategic relationship with Brandon. So I felt like Brandon would want to keep him around. We've built this relationship with Jamie over the course of our time together at Soka. So, I don't know, maybe I wasn't as concerned for him as I should have been, but also there comes a point where I'm like, you got to make it through this tribal on your own, right? I'm here for me. And if I have the opportunity to like beast an NFL player in a challenge, I have to take it. Come on.
Sorry, Matt. Peanut butter and jelly, buddy.
PBJ. Yeah.
So last night, there's also the great moment where Jamie gets to tell the truth about her fake idol. And you guys are like, BS. Now, I don't want to know. I don't want to know when you found out, but I do want to know like how you felt when you found out that she was telling the truth.
Well, okay, let me just say, I had reason to believe that Jamie was a good liar because when she showed up at Soka, she told lies for days about everything that happened on Ratu. She told us that first vote was a majority vote on Maddie. She didn't tell us anything about the birdcage idol. So when all that information comes out later, I think back and I think to myself, whoa, Jamie knows how to lie. And so, yeah, she comes up to me with this crazy story. I'm like, you can't get me. Like, I'm not going to believe it for a second. When I show up at Ponderosa, that's the first question. I'm like, Kane, do you have the idol in your sock?
And he's like,
he's like, yes, I do. And I go, oh no, nobody believes her. And then, man, Gordon, when I found out that idol was fake, biggest shock of my entire life. Like genuinely, I was brought to my knees. I was like, it was all for nothing. It was fake the whole time.
I'm trying to figure out, has any player left the game and then had such an impact like weeks and weeks later as Matthew did?
It is insane. It is insane because literally, I mean, like, yeah, and to have that much of an impact and like not even be around to say anything about it, props to him. I mean, he put a little like ticking time bomb in the game and then he's like, sayonara.
Like a little grenade.
Yeah. He's like, good luck, guys.
So I know there are a lot of Frannie stannies, but I'm a Frannomaniac. Do you have a preference as far as terms?
Oh, I think Frannie stannies is the like prevailing thing, but I've not heard Frannomaniac. Frankly, I wish that you had proposed this to me earlier. We could have made something happen, but
I dropped the ball. That's on me. And I apologize.
That's on you. Yeah. Wait until I get voted out to like come up with a name.
This has been a disaster. I was very excited for this. It has gone horribly, and I apologize. That's on me. That's 100% on me.
I know. Cancel it. Start it over.
Yeah,
we gotta
right.
do it.
Can we roll back? I know
Yeah,
you're super busy today. I want to thank you so much, Frannie. I was a huge fan, and I want to see you back. And I don't say that to everybody. I absolutely want to see you back.
Oh, thank you, Gordon. Hey, I'm crossing my fingers. I would love it too.
Brandon Maniacs unite.
Let's go.